All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Friday Learning with BuzzMyVideos. Today we have a new guest, Emmanuel Arendarczyk. I hope I pronounced it well. Probably not.
Yeah. It's almost right. Yeah.
Almost. Okay. At least I tried.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to pronounce that very much better than I did. Just a bit of an overview of what we're going to talk about today, and then I leave Emmanuel to speak a bit more about him. So today we're going to talk about more digital transformation and the opportunities and the challenges that brands have today in these very weird times, but as well with the weird times come opportunities. And as we all saw that in the last 10 months, it's basically most of the digital advancement were like in the last 10 years in 10 months this year. So it's also an area of opportunity for brands to be really cutting edge and really taking advantage of what's going to happen in the next 10 years. So being really on the forefront. That said, I invited Emmanuel because I've known him since ever, like in the digital spaces, basically ever. He was in Google very back in the days in 2005, 6 started back then, and then had a very interesting career throughout digital tech agencies, brands, and now is a founder as well of his own company. He went from as you will understand, like my Italian accent, he has an accent as well, not Italian. Let's see if you understand from where. He led teams from France to UK at NetBooster after Google and then Ibex. And then he was leading EMEA at Ibex and then founded Zesta. Definitely a very interesting experience in the digital space and leading teams and digital transformation and the digital journey of brands across Europe together with global companies. So with that said, welcome to this chat, Emmanuel.
Thanks for having me. I think you hinted at where I was coming from when you said he led team in France and UK, etc. So
damn it, I did a mistake. You're right, I shouldn't have. But that's the only reason why they would understand.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me. I think you pretty much said everything. But yeah, I've been in digital marketing for 15 years plus, and Google in Dublin. Then worked for an agency that used to be called NetBooster and now it's called Artifacts. Worked in pretty much all the performance marketing channel there as an account manager. And then gradually I moved my way up to become the managing director of the company for the UK and French markets. So yeah, by the time it was about 300 employees, I think, over 2 countries. And dealing with a lot of international clients. So really cool and stressing times by the time. And I was part of the management, so dealing with all the merger and acquisition of the company and the strategy with partners, etc. So really interesting times. The time with Ibex was linking customer experience with digital channels for EMEA. So that's something I did for them for a bit less than 2 years. And yes, it's been almost a year now that we've created Zesta with Jens Nielsen, my business partner that has an accent as well, but Danish this time.
We love accents.
Especially in London, right?
And, yeah, exactly. They give you something more like a stardust.
Yeah, exactly. And so at Zesta, what we do is that we're helping brands, and we're in between brands and the ecosystem. So it really depends on the size of the company, but what we try to achieve is helping them define their digital strategy, do gap analysis so that we see where we can improve their performance. And then basically we decide with them whether it's important to in-house or outsource. And then if we're in a house, bringing the right skills in the house through trainings or hiring the right people. And then when it's outsourced, it's mostly bringing the right technologies and the right agencies with the right business models to achieve at pace. So it's a link between strategy and making sure it's implemented correctly, basically. And that's where we've been doing for almost a year now.
Well, congrats for making the leap, and congrats on the whole career. I think that definitely you achieved a lot, and you had a lot of fun and stressful moments. But you have seen like the last 15 years, digital was basically when it was really booming, booming, and evolving. So you definitely saw all of the stages, and now still enjoying it. So there's a it's a good thing. Starting from there, actually, given that you have seen like different stages, I was wondering if you have any thoughts about what's going on, like what happened in 2020 in terms of challenges, because then I would like to understand as well, like what are the areas of opportunities that you see for brands, because definitely it was a challenging year, there's no doubt, for many different reasons, but as well, especially for marketeers, because everything changed. But what kind of challenges did you see in the markets?
Okay, so yeah, according to different sources, I think we had an acceleration of digital of like, about 3 years in 3 months. It was the first lockdown. So many companies actually already started doing digital for years, and it was part of the business. Then with the first lockdown, they realized that everything was digital, and actually the only way of being resilient within any crisis now was being digital. I mean, we suddenly realized that we could all live getting things delivered. If you had anything to do with the administration, anywhere in the world, it was online as well. You could video call your doctor, etc., etc. So basically, the digital parts is what made us stick together and become resilient. So I think it really impacted minds. I mean, obviously, people started watching videos. I'm sure you're aware of it.
Heard of that. Well, a plus 70% usage of YouTube in March only. That is like,
yeah, no,
like
that's
dramatic.
amazing.
It's like crazy.
So yeah, I mean, all that's put together means that many companies realized that it was time to be not only doing digital, but being good at it, because it was, how to become resilient and be crisis proof in the future. So as a result, yeah, we had many companies that wanted to take back control of these parts, not only running things with partners, but also understanding a bit more and owning the strategy. So I think that's very fundamental impacts, I think, we've seen. And as a result, we saw another wave of in-housing, but also another wave of trying to improve the volume, the quality of first-party data. And that's, for me, is really clear. I mean, it was already a trend, but it was really an acceleration. And I think that behind that, the main thing was before we had agencies, maybe consultants, Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, around, at least in the Western world, and some similar companies in Asia, and particularly in China. Now we want to make sure that it's not only them that are running digital for us, but we run digital. And as a result, beside the strategy, we want to run and create things for ourselves, digital assets that we own. So, and that's one of the main one where we saw a lot of growth, obviously, was content, and within that, video marketing. So content, in terms of innovation, we saw a lot of new technologies or technologies that were already existing but started booming, where you could be able to create dynamically content. So the dynamic content was already existing. Now where we've seen a lot is creating dynamically video as a content. So suddenly, you would have an e-commerce database, and you would be able to create videos, video assistants, video explaining products, videos that you could push to YouTube, videos that you could send to your clients, you send to your employees, etc. So, and there are many technologies around that are quite successful at the moment. As a result, video SEO is super important, right? And that's how we started talking together beside the friendship, more recently. And but that's for the all media, but also for paid media. So another trend that is there, because everyone is watching TV now, or more than before, is addressable TV. So the fact that now more and more you have personalized advertisements coming to TV, and that's a huge change, because I mean on the TV network side, all of a sudden they're thinking, the fill rate of advertisement was quite big. Actually, there were very few spots for large companies, so it was a bit of a battle to be part of it, and prices were high, and the entry level was high. Now what we see more and more is that for TV networks, they can sell the same spots multiple times based on geography, audience segments, etc. And as a result, I mean, it's more money obviously for them, but also more opportunities for other companies. So suddenly you have pure players that never did TV before, and they realize now that with a smaller budget, they can address TV with TV advertisements. So it was the thing that they were watching, and without really understanding how it works. And now they can apply the same digital metrics that they used to do TV and address a mass market. And I think that all that put together is a huge change, and yeah, it creates a lot of activity basically.
Actually, you touch on a point on the content, on the first of the 2 points, which I think is very interesting as well, especially for the brands, because while video was already something that publisher would understand very well and would produce in a very scalable way in most of cases, for brands it has always been an issue, like the fact of producing content. Because of course it was more like video content, more like the advertising, so it should be super polished, perfect, and very high cost, because if you want like the pure advertising, most of the time it comes with a price tag. But the reality is that, like with technologies like you were mentioning, it's very important that they can actually get a lot of content, super targeted, it's more like looking to scale the content, so becoming in between like a brand and the publisher, and getting their own audience, which I think is a completely different approach to engaging and talking to the audience. So, and keeping like expanding more on being more like real with the audience and getting more content out there to engage, and then getting your own like the creativity on the ads. Of course, like they still become like extremely important to pass the message and everything. And that was a burning need for brands, that possibly it was there before, but they didn't really catch on it until it was like the big question arises, like, okay, how can I engage with my people, my audience and my clients, because we can't meet in a shop or anywhere.
No,
I think
totally.
that's definitely interesting.
Totally. And one point of that on that, I mean, I worked with many clients before, and 5-6 years ago, we had a massive video campaign with one of our clients, and we were already super happy to be able to film, with an iPhone, and with lenses and a tripod, etc. And we're like, well, that's already a reduction of costs, and we can show that to our clients, and we're much more mobile with that. But still, to have a big quality, it was like a lot was required. I mean, obviously you could do that with an iPhone, but it was even better to do that with a camera, and specific cameras, right? Sometimes if you really wanted to have things right? You needed a studio. So obviously you needed people to film, have people in the studio, have people, editing the video, the sound, etc. But nowadays, I have two technologies in mind that are really changing the game, right? So one is you just use digital avatars, and basically you just send content to that platform, and the avatar, that could be any physical appearance. So it could be your CEO in the company, is actually basically saying the text in any language, and the avatar is limb syncing with the text. So suddenly, basically, you just type a text, or it's automatically received from the database, e-commerce database, and the video is being produced within seconds. So what I mean is that before you would have gone to your CEO, shot the video, and unfortunately only speaks one language or two, if you're lucky. Now he actually speaks 10 or 50 or languages thanks to this technology.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
he can personalize videos and address anyone in the world like that through his avatar.
So it's
that's one
text
thing.
to video straight, like it's not
Yeah,
text
exactly.
to speech, text to video straight in any
Exactly.
language. Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
So that's it, and that's a huge leap into I was about to say the future, but the present, since it's already working. And the second bit, another technology that we've been working with recently, work with templates. So it's more like UGC based, and basically the way it works is that if you want to I don't know, have your shop owner, so you have many shops in the country, your shop owner that's you would like him to or her to present a video about the shop. They could take their phone and an app on it, and then the app would say step by step how to shoot the video. So step one, for example, would be filming the shop for 5 seconds. Step two would be an interview, for example, etc. So you have the steps in the app. You have an example. You just click. You're doing it. It's being uploaded. It's being edited. The sounds, all the noise in the sound is being removed and everything. And then suddenly the video is being produced in a professional way with the logo of the company, and it's ready to use. And this takes, I think the upload and the processing takes something like 40 seconds. So again, all of a sudden, you can't really just say as a company, well, doing videos, we have that in mind, but we don't know how to implement it. Now you literally have technologies that help you do that, and you can move forward and just do video marketing.
Well, that's really interesting, because definitely there's a lack of knowledge on how to do all things video, but as well, like there's different usage means you need different approaches. So definitely there's more to come there, because it's an area that is going to develop further on more and more. And another thing that I thought was very interesting from what you were saying before on the addressable TV, from when you were talking, I really thought, I had the impressions like, okay, it's not more like traditional broadcasting, digital. It's basically like TV is becoming digital, digital is becoming TV. So there's no kind of barrier anymore. So everything is digital at the end of the day. So, it's becoming digital. So the barrier that were there like 24 months ago or so, not there any longer. It's like digital is part of the core business of any company, and there's no thinking of traditional business and the digital as a different entity kind of area of the company. It's if it breaks like the barrier between TV and digital, then everything else will follow, I guess.
Yeah, no, pretty much. And I mean, I have 2 or 3 points on that. But one, if you look at the stats at the moment, in the UK especially, you have digital investment that overtook the offline investments. So and still growing massively, but it's already been overtaken. That's one point. The second point is that you keep seeing articles saying like, TV is dead, radio is dead, everything is dead but digital. But what it doesn't take into account is that all those are being digital now. I mean, TV is digital, radio is digital with the Spotify, etc. Now you also have digital out of home. I mean, especially here in London, you go to Piccadilly Circus, but also on bus stops, in the tube, etc. You have digital everywhere, and it's actually been that you can serve videos, in the tube and almost live, and now it's becoming, real time. So yeah, I don't think there is any frontier in terms of media and channels for digital anymore. Digital is everywhere. And the final point is that even when it's not digital yet, for whatever reason, you still use digital tools to track things and take decisions. So 3-4 years ago, we had this project where we were using a technology to the first bit was actually tracking who was going to stores in stores. So tracking the footfall and sales mostly through the payment system they had. And actually, what we realized is that we could also put video camera and track, like, how long people were watching certain products, etc. And all this data was going into dashboards. And then the shop owner could think like, well, actually, 3 employees that, I have from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock, for example. But now I have my footfall live. So I see that, for example, there is no one in the morning before 11 o'clock. So maybe instead of having 3 people all day long, I should have 1 person in the morning and maybe 5 in the evening. And then all of a sudden, you can take decisions like that. You can take decisions on where do I put my products? Because live, you can see where people are staying, where there is friction, just like you would do online. So yeah, I mean, data is digital, and therefore, if you don't understand digital as a marketeer, yeah, you're basically not taking into account a lot of things that could change your business.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. It's not just about how you engage or advertise, it's about how you actually make decisions about anything else in your business, like cross sale, like everywhere, or
Absolutely.
not just sales. It's really like even from our productions and from production to sales and everything in between. So it's definitely, and the data like is really gonna be like a key part of anything across the board in business. It is already like in most businesses, but it will still be more and more. And definitely on the analytics side is going to be extremely interesting to see what are going to be the developments.
Yeah.
Cool, that's very interesting. And anything else you saw, or any very nice experiment, or anything for Christmas that you saw that was really cool that some brands did, or anything that kind of example that you want to share in terms of opportunity that you saw that was different?
Yeah, so 2 things. So one is linked to data. Yeah, it's a bit my advice, but when you want to see what's coming in terms of data marketing, the companies to look to are D2C companies, really, because I've been talking to a few recently, and that's amazing how they can change almost on a real-time basis everything in the company based on the data they receive. So some examples are feedbacks from customers on the products that go straight to the product departments, where they can change colors, dimensions, almost within weeks or months, and then go to mass production again, or even from time to time, personalized products for certain segments of the population based on that. And what I was really impressed when I talked to all of them, they were basically saying that they all have access to data. They all have dashboards, like, whether they do marketing, sales, procurement, anything. They have access to most data on anything, so that they can take decisions and they can influence their judgments. So basically what they thought was, okay, we're customer first, or we're customer oriented. Everybody says that, but now we all want to have the data in real time and be able to take decisions on that. So the data is shared across the board. And as I said, you can change product based on that, the supply chain based on that, the pricing, the discounts, etc. Everything is literally checked, and they take decision upon that almost every day. So I think it's really a really prime example of how every company in a way should be in the future. With this flow of information. A second thing that I'm seeing, and actually it's based on video, and that's something we're working on at the moment, is video assistance. So when you arrive on the website, a video assistant helping you with your decision and basically acting like a shop assistant. Mm-hmm. So you can interact with the assistant and then say, well, I'm actually interested in discounts, so I'm interested in that. And then you have explanation on the products, and it's based on the decision tree. And every time you can click, and you have another video explaining where it could take you next. Or you can decide, well, actually, I'm spending way too much time on that. You can drop your email address, for example, and resume the process later on in the future. So I think from a customer experience and UX experience, it's actually really nice, because it's getting closer to the experience you have in physical stores. And when you think about it, physical stores, they have conversion ratios that are way higher than we have in digital. I mean, it's been years now that we're stuck always between those 2, 3, 4% conversion ratio. When you hit 5,
happy days.
It's champagne for everyone. It's way higher in physical stores normally. So we will never come closer or that close to physical stores. Usually when you go there, it means you're already motivated somehow. But we can go closer, and this new technology, for me in particular, is really going to help. And some are coming with it for Christmas, and actually for Black Friday.
Well, that's very interesting. The both of them are very good examples, because especially the first one that you gave is like, for now in these weird times, is really you change everything in no time, and now you just don't know, like there's a lockdown, there's no lockdown, and then there's another one, or whatever it is, and you just need to change strategies so quickly that you don't have time to waste. I mean, there's really 0 minutes that you want to waste, and just readapt and as fast as you can. So that's definitely interesting, and it's definitely customer first. There can't be any better than that. Very tough to achieve, very difficult to achieve. There's no doubt, but that's extremely interesting from a business point of view and from a consumer point of view.
Absolutely.
That's definitely a very interesting conversation. I think we are getting out of time right now, but I really enjoyed it. I think that there is a lot going on, and it's always a pleasure to talk about new things happening, because now there are the new things, and then in 12 months time it's going to be like the norm, which is nice to be in this spot and see them. Thank you very much for sharing all of your knowledge and experience, Emmanuel, with us.
It was a pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, and we're gonna meet again in another Friday Learning with BuzzMyVideos very soon. Subscribe to the channel and leave any comment if you have any questions for us. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.